Our first question is about the functionalities of guild management. Are they going to be working since day one of free to play? There will be something that allow space owners and players to divide their earnings in game. And when is all this going to happen?
We're currently in early access launch. I expect that global launch will happen in August or so. And on day one of global launch is when we expect full guild mechanics to start. We basically won't start global launch until all those guild mechanics are in place and fully functional.
We understand the big time focus is about the quality of the gameplay and making a game that you wouldn't even notice it is built on blockchain while still having a market of NFTs. With that said, we think the game will get attention from two different kinds of players, Web2 players and Web3 players, each one with different goals in the game. Looking only towards the play-to-earn side, what will be the benefit for the big guilds to keep playing, get a large amount of spaces, and managing a big number of players? And how do you visualize this guild model? And what will be the major source of income for these guilds to keep so they can keep working with this massive structure?
So we have some really big guilds that bought in to Big Time in the fall of last year. It includes Avocado, YGG, Prominence, OKX, and a few others. When they got involved in the game, they saw the same thing that you guys do, which is that Big Time is going to be very, very appealing to Web 2 type gamers. And a lot of that is going to be driven by having a much larger player audience inside of Big Time than is seen in other Web3 type games. So there's a couple ways that we think that guilds will be able to operate. And some of them are already operating inside of Big Time right now. But generally speaking, it looks like collecting NFTs inside of the game, upgrading them in their space, and then putting those NFTs on the marketplace where we think a lot of users are going to want to acquire cosmetic NFTs to personalize and upgrade their characters that they play inside the game.
The Big Time team are planning to introduce PvP in the game, maybe some 3v3 arenas, and if so, how would be the tokenization in PvP work? How would the tokenization work?
So Big Time is a player versus the environment game. So what you would do is a player would play through a level, and as they beat enemy and defeat monsters inside of the adventure zones, then those bosses would drop loot, and some of those loot are NFTs and some of them are tokens. But if you don't have Hourglass enabled, when you beat those bosses, they don't drop tokens as loot.
So Matthew, you mean it's not on the roadmap to have like a PvP on Big Time for now, right?
We've definitely talked about it in terms of future development, moving it to a PvP model as well as onto other consoles, but I don't have a timeline for you guys on that, but it's definitely something we talk about quite heavily.
So we'll have guild versus guild events for conquering territories or dungeons, or that's not on your plans, sir?
Oh, absolutely. What you're talking about is something similar to a esports type event, and I love esports. I'm also working on esports outreach, and some of the ideas that I've seen and talked about with guilds and other teams is we would basically set up a dungeon, and then teams would have like a set amount of time to set the best time going through that dungeon, or like a set amount of time so you can level up the most. And then we basically can have like live streams of like, hey, who's leveling up the fastest, who gets the most XP in a certain amount of time, and we can have a leaderboard that way.
Are you planning to put a teleporting NPC in the game so the player could go to different areas faster?
I haven't heard it talked about. My initial reaction is probably no, but it's definitely a possibility. I think something to keep in mind is as we move into global launch and there are more worlds for people to play through, you're not going to have to like run between each of those worlds. There will be a way to transport that way. And what you're seeing right now during early access launch is just a fraction of the gameplay that's going to be available by the time global launch comes out.
Is there going to be a capital city in the game?
A what type of thing?
A capital city, like a major city.
Oh, yeah. Each world will be a little bit different, has a different focus on what players can do. So, for example, right now you see at Time's End, in early access launch, that's a very combat focused and orientation focused. One of the worlds is going to be called Epic City, and that one will be much more community based. So it's similar to like a capital, but that's where you can interact with other players, NPCs, and really engage more on like the storyline and background of Big Time.
We heard that only 25% of the content was released. And part of this is true or just theories?
That is correct. So you're seeing about 25% of the gameplay content that will come out during global launch.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and that goes to those worlds that I was just mentioning. Like you're going to see a lot more.
In the space format that was leaked before, we could see some vehicles showing. Are there going to be any kind of them in the game, like NFTs, or is just illustrative?
Vehicles? Oh man.
Yeah.
Huh. You're putting me in a tough spot where I know things that I'm not allowed to share. So
No, feel free to answer as you wish. Like you don't have to answer everything. If you
it's like, hey,
if it's not
go
safe
ahead.
for you, we don't want you to go bad. Like back to the.
Yeah, it's like, hey, don't worry, just say some stuff. We won't tell anybody. Wink, wink. This is what I can tell you. I've noticed that we put out some teasers that have dinosaurs in them. Some very careful observers noticed that those dinosaurs have saddles on them. And you generally put saddles on things that you want to ride. I thought that was a good observation. Now you said that there are vehicles in other levels. I thought that was another good observation because I would assume it's probably pretty fair that users drive vehicles. I thought that was a good observation.
Are the big tokens going to be the major coin of the in-game economy, or it will be gold? And if it is the gold, would it be possible to exchange a quantity of big tokens for gold?
There's a couple inputs that keep the economy going. The token that you've heard about is going to operate like an in-game currency. There will be some similarities to like Smooth Love Potion, where it's really meant to stay inside the game. It's not tied to governance, but that's one of the components of that in-game economy. I think we've teased as well that there are some things inside the game that users are going to want to collect and mine. I can't go into a ton of details on that, but certainly that in-game token is going to be a very important part for that in-game economy.
And what are the diamonds and what is their function in the economy of the game?
I don't think we have diamonds inside the game. I could be wrong though.
No? Oh, okay.
Not unless somebody knows some serious inside stuff that I don't. Listen, it's possible. It's possible.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything about a diamond yet.
Okay.
What do you mean? When you were playing with the gold pass, he had some diamonds, right? It's very rare, but you got these diamonds. You dropped them, right?
In like 23 days of farming, I have just 17.
What? You found diamonds inside of Big Time?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
I don't know if it's real diamonds, like a gem. I don't know.
You have a gold pass?
Yeah, they're playing the gold pass. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, those items I don't believe are NFTs, so it will be a component of that mining that I kind of alluded to before, but unfortunately, I won't be able to go into too many more details about it.
Okay. Will it be possible to sell equipments and items of utility in game for the big tokens or the coin of the economy of the game? Or
No. So generally speaking, the only things that you can sell right now on the marketplace are the cosmetics, not things that affect your player stats.
It will be possible to level up the spaces in game?
Right now, we haven't released anything, and I don't think it's going to be possible to upgrade. And that's because we have a fixed quantity of space, and the allocations for each type of space is already set. So, for example, we have 600,000 space, 2% of it is exalted, 8% is mythic, 20% legendary, 30% epic, and 40% legendary.
Is it possible to fit more than one space of the same rarity in a time machine, or it will be only one from each?
Yeah, so the space should be modular and that you can attach multiple different types of space together. The image I use in my mind is a space is like a a room in a castle. And the more rooms that you buy, the more that you can kind of bolt them together and add more items inside of your space.
What would be the benefit of owning a large space instead of a medium one, since the value per slot is better in medium spaces?
Right now, the only distinguishing features between them is just the size and the rarity. We haven't released anything else that would be like, hey, this is the advantage of having a large over a medium.
The three activities inside spaces are Forge, Armory, and Timekeeper, right? We'll have more possibilities in the future after the game launches, or that's it?
Those are the three ones that are going to be the basis of the utility economy. But there will be other types of NFTs you can put inside of those. For example, people who have like collected postcards. And then there will be some other features of your space that some of them are NFTs, some of them are individuals, like upgrades that allows each user or guild to customize that area.
What's the main strategy to reach players in the Web2 universe? Do we have CGI trailers on the radar?
We're reaching out to a lot of gamers and streamers right now from Web 2 to get them to check out BigTime and start playing it so we can share it.
What is the biggest goal of BigTime for this year?
I think it looks like having millions of monthly autonomous users per month. I haven't heard like a number being thrown around, but we would definitely like to have the number of monthly active users that's similar to other popular games out there right now, like Fortnite, League of Legends, Genshin Impact. That's how many like types of users we want to have inside of BigTime.
While we still have sand inside our glasses, the player will still be able to farm the big tokens or the tokens of the currency in game, or there will be like a limit, daily limit, something like that.
We haven't released a lot of those details right now. I don't think we've put any type of limit on what you're going to be able to collect because we really want to incentivize users to play the game. And the more that you play the game, the more that you're going to be able to find. So I don't think we've talked about any types of limits or anything like that so far.
What will be necessary to craft these hourglasses inside our timekeeper, and how important will this be in the game? I'm not sure if you can answer this. Yeah, it's up to you.
So the hourglass is an NFT on its own. So you're going to be able to find that, and you're going to be able to find that, I think, during early access launch as well, but then also during gameplay. So to craft and upgrade your own NFTs, you need armories, forges, and space. And as you go out and collect a cosmetic NFT in the game, you can bring it back into your space, put it through the armory and the forge, and then it will upgrade that NFT.
Which game mode do you think will be the most successful streaming wise? Like, what will be more interesting for streamers to play?
I think users on Twitch and YouTube and Facebook that play at a competitive level, collect NFTs, and then have a strong community of people that they play with are going to be the most successful streamers.
And a question that I think that all pass holders would like to know, especially gold pass holders like me, which if there will be any use after early access, maybe some airdrop or something like this.
The main benefit to early access pass is that you have such a high NFT drop rate. So what you're seeing right now in Gold Pass is way higher than what's going to happen during the normal gameplay. And I think that's important to realize because the Gold Pass and Silver Pass and Jade Pass holders are really building the supply side of the economy in the marketplace right now. There are certain NFTs that will only drop during early access launch.